Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Kama Nkem Kama is my name. I represent the awesome people of Ohozara, Onitsha, and Iwo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, this motion is a very sensitive one. This bill is a very sensitive one. And before this bill can be talked about here or debated, one, I believe that all of us here should have a copy of this bill to look at it and be able to go through it because of the sensitivity of this particular bill, sir. Mr. Speaker, I don't envy you today, but one thing I'm very sure, I hereby move that this bill...
Please, somebody has the floor. Allow him to finish, please. Then we recognize you.
And I have the procedural of the Speaker. I hereby move that this bill be stepped down today and let it be shared for all of us to have a look at before further action can be taken on this bill. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
See, I'm not happy. Yes, I'm not happy. As you can see, I'm making this video at night. This is night, but I have to do this video to bring this information to you. Yes, I'm not happy because most of us don't know what is happening in Nigeria. Most of us don't even have a built idea of what is happening in Nigeria. Today being the 25th of October 2024, the House of Rep debated so well in the House about passing the Sharia law into Nigerian constitution. Do you know what that means? They want to pass an Islamic law into Nigerian constitution. Yes, a country that contains 45 to 49% Christians, and they want to pass an Islamic law into that country, into that nation. No wonder. Now I understand what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Now I understood what he said. What he said years back. Now I understood that this is their plan to make Nigeria an Islamic state. No wonder they chose Muslim tickets so that nobody will interrupt them, so that nobody will, will come to do gara for them when they are unleashing their plans. And now their plans is happening. They want to sign into Nigerian constitution Sharia law. Do you know what is Sharia law? An Islamic law. They want to sign it into Nigerian constitution. And so I will use this video to tell you watching this video now, whether you are from south or southeast, wherever you are, provided you are from the south, from the east, just begin to pray. Just begin to thank God for the life of these two sons we have, Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpan. Just begin to thank God for their life and begin to pray for them, that God will preserve them, that God will give them more strength and more energy to carry out the work they are doing. And for those of you that are from the west, the Lagosians and the rest of them, begin to thank God also for your brother Sunday Igboho and for some of the leaders that you have that speak the truth. Otherwise, Nigeria would have been a mess, especially for those of my brothers from the east, because we are their target. You don't know, we are their major target. They know that we are strong-headed. We are always, we are very strong. So the best way they could, get us is to go through the constitution. And so I use this video to urge you, whether you are supporting Simon Ekpan or you are not supporting him, or whether you are supporting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or you are not supporting him, just from today, begin to pray. Start praying for them and start asking God to strengthen them, both of them, because these people is doing a work that if not for them, only God knows where me and you will be today. Only God knows where me and you will be, or me and you will be probably in the next 1 year. By the time these people sign this into law. Anyways, I'm going to allow you to watch the video, because even in this house where they are debating the thing, it was between the north and the south. Yes, It was between the North and the South. The North was the one who brought the motion to sign the Sharia law, and the South, the representatives from the South say, no, let's leave it. Let's go and digest it. Let's go and see it. I wonder why they were even saying let them go and digest it. Digest what? You would have just opted out of it. You don't want it. You don't want it. So even from the house, it is between the North and the South. Some of you don't know what is happening. Some of you don't know. But when I tell you to subscribe to this channel, some of you will watch my video and pass. You will not subscribe. A channel where I bring you informations. Some of you will not subscribe. Some of you, even when you subscribe, you will not turn your notification button on so that you see notification when I post a video. But anyways, I will allow you to watch the video because it's hot for inside house. Ah, God. Oh, God. In fact, on this video, I have to kneel down. I have to do it. Let me kneel down and thank God. And thank God for the life of these two of our sons. I'm kneeling down now. I'm kneeling down. I'm thanking God for the life of these two of our sons, Mazin Nandekano and Simon Ekpa. I thank God for their life. And God, I beg you, may you preserve them. May you keep them and may you strengthen them. For those of you that don't know, please, big things is happening in Nigeria. If you don't know, no. Please watch the video. As you are watching it, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel. Hey, anyway, watch it.
Mr. Speaker, our constitution allows for freedom of worship of all religions. Mr. Speaker, we would not sit in this hollow chamber and restrict ourselves to just a few. If we begin to put such components into the constitution, tomorrow the ecclesiastical faction comes up. The day after, the traditional faction comes up. The day after, all other components begin to come up. And what happens to our grand norm that is supposed to be the foundation of our existence? Mr. Speaker, Nigeria has never limited anybody from practicing his religion. You go to states like in the north, where you have Sharia being practiced as the criminal code for those states. It is because it's peculiar to them as a people and as a persons. By the time we begin to expand it and bring it into our constitution, we are not an Islamic state. We're a secular state. We're not a celestial state. We're a secular state. We are not a traditional worship state. We're a secular state that respects and gives everybody a sense of belonging. We're a nation. We need to be sensitive to the mood and the existence, freedom of speech, freedom of association, to live in happiness, not a scenario whereby there could be some misconceptions. To this end, I wish to crave the indulgence of the sponsor of this bill that he steps it down for more legislative input, and consultation, which would be more in tune with our beliefs and the norms. But I do not believe it is a legislation that should pass for second reading. I so submit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. I want to comment as the second to the last speaker spoke. In fact, the bill that was moved by the sponsor, we are supposed to commend him. I agree Nigeria is a secular state where we have different opinions, traditions, religion, and what have you. But if you see this motion or this bill, it will help Nigerians to know that these commercial banks, especially Taj Bank and what have you, many people have perceived that these banks are specifically for Muslim, while it is not. So by expanding this nature, I believe when it is encompasses to everybody, many people will see the benefit of this bill, and I believe in a near future, many people will see that the mover put this in a right direction. Thank you very much.
Honorable Kuye.
Abdul Hakim Kamilu Ado, representing Udilgarko Federal Constituency, Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make it brief to say that while being cautious, but we have to consider, and considering also the divisions we have in this country, we have to consider the ethics, the values, and the interest of the masses. Because we are here in this hollow chamber to represent the Nigerians, and also not to make a religion or a tribe or a community, not to constrain them from practicing something which is their way of life. We all know that Nigeria comprises of so many religions and also tribes and communities. But these religious matters, we consider it as a way of life, not just a mere religion. So considering the ethics and the values and the interest of the masses, not looking at the division or being cautious of what this will cause, Mr. Speaker, I think this bill is supposed to pass for the second reading. In my opinion, Mr. Speaker, we need to commend the Honorable Misau for coming up with this bill in order to unite and to create a room, free room or an interest for people that are practicing Islamic religion to practice their religion freely and to consider some way of lives which comprises so many things. Talk less of the commercial that he talked about. There are so many things we need to consider in order to encompass it under this bill. If at all we are considering this bill to be passed via the committee, then, Mr. Speaker, as you said earlier, that we are here as parliamentarians in order to pass bills, and it doesn't have to go through the committee. So we can pass it, and then later on the committee can consider what they can do about the bill. But we are here to debate it, and we are debating it. So let us go on with the debate, and later on consider what we can go with in this hollow chamber. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much,
Speaker. My name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka Talata Mafra constituency. I'm from Zamfara State. My able speaker, our honorable colleagues, I wouldn't want to dwell on issues already spoke by the last speaker. In other words, he has spoken my mind. But the other speaker, the last but one, talked about karma. Karma is already embedded in the constitutions. Therefore, it takes care of other commercial laws. And I think we need to understand the subject matter of this bill. The bill is calling for description of Islamic law. In other words, the bill is seeking the House to define, because of the existing situations now, looking at the issue of, like he rightly quoted, other commercial laws that have not been embedded, that have not been taken care into the Constitution. I think it's a straightforward bill. He is not calling the fact that, he's not calling for expunging the existing Sharia law, but rather to define it in order to encompass all those, existing situations that have just come up. That is my contribution, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's not talking about Sharia law. He's talking about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that we get it right, his bill is about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not the Sharia law. Okay, Jonathan, please, let's hear you.
The Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I want to with respect, differ from the mover of the bill on the need for us to amend the Nigerian Constitution in this particular instance. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because as students of history, we all know the issues surrounding the particular section in reference, especially at the various constituent assemblies leading to the 1979 Constitution, the 1989 Constitution that was not promulgated, and now the 1999 Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the drafters of the Nigerian Constitution are very conscious of the secularity of the Nigerian nation, and also very conscious of the sensitive nature of religion. And I remember the 1976 Constituent Assembly, the 1979 Constitution, was very, very contentious on this matter until the then federal military government came in to stop further debate on this matter and took a decision that the application of Islamic laws will only be constrained to personal matters, which has to do with administration of estate and some other issues. Mr. Speaker, we have to be very, very cautious of whatever we do to alter the Nigerian Constitution in a manner that will further widen the divides that we have as a country. And in any case, Mr. Speaker, like my previous colleague said, the matters which my colleague seek to address by this proposal is already covered by existing laws. The Kama law, covers regulation on issue of finances and allows for application of Islamic principles of financial transaction. The same thing with the CBN Act, like you rightly said. And the moment we allow the Constitution to be altered to take care of all manner of interests, we will no longer be in the state where the sanctity of the Constitution is respected, and the intent of the drafters of the Nigerian Constitution via or as regards to the secular nature of the Nigerian nation might be threatened if we allow this to go on. Mr. Speaker, I sincerely think that this bill should not pass on for the second reading for these reasons I've adduced. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Bako, Kacha Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I think we need not lose sight of what the proposer of the bill intends to achieve. I understand how sensitive matters related to religion are, especially in this country. But the fact of the matter is we cannot treat religion issues in isolation. There are issues that we must bring to the front burner and discuss, irrespective of how sensitive they are. I didn't want to stand.
Are you getting what they are saying? I hope you are hearing it.
But I looked at the sensitivity, even from the argument, you could see the sensitivity that is driving the sentiment that is driving the argument. But if we focus,
Honorable Ali, approach the chair.
If we focus on what the bill intends to achieve,
approach the chair.
The bill intends to review the description of Islamic law, which means it's already enshrined in the Constitution. What it seeks to achieve is to review the description. So it's already in the Constitution. I don't understand why we will see it as something that will lead to snowball into a crisis or what have you. This is what we have done that over the years that has led us to not make progress on certain issues. It doesn't matter how sensitive these issues are. We must be able to debate them. This is what our people sent us here to do. If we run away from discussing a problem, if we assume it to be a problem, and we're running away from discussing it, how will you provide solution to it? I will agree and accept the fact that there is need for further, broader consultation. But for us to run away from the problem, for us to drop it and say it's not an issue to be discussed on this floor, I don't think it's something that is acceptable. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
My name is Honorable Abejide. I represent the good people of Yagba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. Mine is an appeal because of the mood in the House now, that this bill be stepped down for when we have all our leaders seated, so that they can also contribute to the debates. I want to appeal that if you look today now, most of the leaders are on their way to Jigawa State to commiserate with them. Because of the sensitive nature of this bill, my appeal is for us to step it down and let us have a full house and full time to discuss this bill. We cannot rush it. The way we want to rush it, it may not even get the result that we want the bill to achieve. I'm not saying the bill should not go. All I'm saying is that let us have time to discuss it in full. As I'm speaking to you, I have not seen the details of the bill. So, and for us to be able to contribute meaningfully, we need the details of this bill. Without the details of the bill, if you are talking, you are only talking to the air. Maybe it's different from those sections you are quoting in the Constitution. It may not have any issue to do with it. Let us have the details of this bill so that we digest it and come back another day for the debate. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues.
No matter how you look at it, our diversity is what defines us. So when issues like this come up, it must be thoroughly looked into and should not be done in a haste. Let me ask you, how many of you have copies of this bill? If you have, I would like to know the percentage of people who have copies of this bill. And you can, if I ask you about one or two paragraphs, you read it for me. If I appoint you now, say, give me 2-3 paragraphs in that bill, and you're able to mention it to us, it means that you have it. Let me ask you, if you know you don't have a copy, raise your hand. And it is the rule of this house that you must have a copy so that you debate from that copy. If you say you have a copy, I'll call you now and I'll ask you questions on some of the paragraphs and the sections he's referring to. You will not be able to answer it. And this issue is an issue that we need to thoroughly analyze.
Please, order, please.
It is our rule here that issues like this, we must have copies we look at. And if the copies are not there, we take another step. But I won't be taking that step from this chair. It will come from the house. So if the majority of the people say they don't have copies of this bill, whether it is good or bad, you don't have the copies, you need to have the copies for us to deliberate on it. Let me hear you, Nkemkama.
Of an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to review the description of Islamic law in the Constitution as related matters, HB 1502. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any second? Yes, sir. Kwakwansia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Hassan Sheikh Hussein.
Distinguished colleagues, briefly, as the chair or the speaker requested, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, Mr. Speaker, provide for a personal Islamic law in the Constitution. The Constitution did not envisage the dynamism and the development coming off in the country. In 2003, the Constitution did not recognize that the Islamic commercial law, Islamic company law, Islamic international law, Islamic public laws. In 2003, Mr. Speaker, Taj Bank came up under the commercial Islamic law. In 2019, another bank came up under the commercial law. That means the Jaiz Bank, not the Taj Bank. The Jaiz Bank was in 2004. The Taj Bank came in 2019. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at the personal law, it only encompasses marriage, divorce, and the inheritance. Therefore, what I'm requiring is the removal of the removal of personal in section 24 of the Constitution, section 262, section 277, and section 288, so that other relevant laws like the public, the commercial law, Islamic commercial law, the Islamic company law, the Islamic international law can have a place in the Constitution. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is what I want the honorable colleagues to support so that this amendment can be done. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mr. who is calling, I think, is in the right direction to give a back off for the commercials and other laws that already they are practicing without proper backing, particularly in our Islamic-related financial institution of not only limited to Taj Bank or Jaiz Bank, but there are several banks that are now practicing, particularly the Mudahara and the other sharing formulas. I think this is a very welcome development that it will give even an economic leeway for the nation to see the goodness of such practices in our financial institution to get the backup of the law. I do support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Bob Solomon, please. Solomon Bob, from the great state of Rivers. Now, this matter, actually, I think it will be dealt with in better technical detail at the committee level for constitutional review, because there's so much to say about this kind of okay, I'm sorry, yes, I was told you were not listening to me. I'm saying that this bill will be better dealt with, in broader technical detail at the level of committee for constitutional review. But straight off, the section you're referring to, if it is removed, the word personal is removed, the implication immediately is that Islamic law will now have a general application with respect to criminal law across the country.
So you have seen it. You have seen it. What do you think? So probably in their next sitting, or in their next two sitting, they will still bring out this thing and say, okay, this is what we want to sign Sharia law into Nigerian constitution. And that is all. God. Anyways, drop your comment on the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. As you are subscribing, turn on the notification button so you get notified anytime I drop a video. Please, I beg you. Okay? So thank you and God bless you.